We'll get this party started. So again, for those of you just joining us, today's presentation, 6 characteristics of an exceptional presenter. And the reason why this would be of interest to you is because your inability to communicate, to present even a single idea, thought, message will incapacitate your effectiveness. Will also put an end to any real message that you have, because nobody will hear it. So presenting is about getting a message out there across to an audience. But something you got to be aware of is the fact that your audience needs to be receptive to your message, or what you'll say will never be heard. So these 6 characteristics speak more to your ability to open up whoever's listening to you, whether it be one or many, right? Building rapport so that they'll actually hear your message. Keep in mind, this works equally well one-on-one as it does 1 on 1,000. Whether you're dealing with a homeowner that you're trying to negotiate a deal with, which I know it's a struggle for many of us, where we cannot get a good negotiation to fall our way. We're like, well, maybe you're not taking the time to build a little rapport, a little connectivity, and your message is falling on it's falling flat on its face. It's not getting heard. So a great communicator and a great leader and educator, John C. Maxwell, once said that educators take something complicated. Rephrase, I said it, I check that. Educators take something simple, I had it backwards on that, and make it complicated, where communicators take something complicated and make it simple. See, when the receiver of your message gets confused, they get scared, and then they go into shutdown mode. And that's the process. So I encourage you to sit and enjoy, and feel free to participate as we go along here, okay? Your thoughts and feedbacks are Your thought and feedback are always encouraged. I'll open my chat box over here. Got Mr. Daniel checking in from California. David from Utah, excellent gentleman. Mr. Miller coming in from Indiana. Miss Vicky, great to have you here. And Lynn as well. And Dan from Wisconsin, I believe. Lynn from South Carolina. I envy you because it's nice and warm down there right now. We're still, our weather up here in the Northeast has been so crappy. Mr. Dennis from Utah, another gentleman from Utah. Awesome. Alrighty, get underway. 6 characteristics of an exceptional presenter. Right? Keep in mind, think this back of your head. Educators take a simple concept and make it complicated. True communicators take something that's very complicated and make it simple. They deliver a message. They communicate. Number 1, write this down. Be organized. Okay? This is your show. If you're going to communicate, this is your space, your stage. I don't care if it's 1-on-1, 1 on 1,000, right? Take charge. Be prepared. Sound prepared. Don't overwhelm people. Instead, inform people. Persuade, entertain, influence, enlighten them, but don't confuse them. Have a really well-structured message that you've thought out, you planned, very well defined, but not confusing. Give your listener the sense that you're not there wasting your time. You're there on intention, right? If you come across prepared, your audience will always immediately appreciate your effort, even if they don't like what you're saying. Remember, this whole thing comes down to the art of communication. Communication is 15% of what you're saying and 85% of the way you're saying it. The entertainment part and the engagement part. Those are the 3 parts of communication. Education, entertainment, and engagement. They always got to be part of it. And the actual education part is a smaller part of it, because that's not what engages people. The message that you're giving them is not what engages them. So how you deliver it, the context about which you do it. Look at it like a coffee cup, right? Kind of a funny coffee cup. I don't have multiple personalities. I have 2, awesome and always awesome. Look at a coffee cup, and then you have coffee inside. The coffee cup is the context. That's your delivery system. The coffee is the content. If the context is broken, the content will leak out and never get where it's supposed to go. You got to get the context correct. That's the engagement and entertainment side of it. The content is the education side of it. Education is that big of a part of it, okay? Your delivery, the context is what's important here. So number one, be prepared for any engagement. Whether it be one-on-one or one-on-1,000. Number two, be prepared, be passionate, okay? Passion is contagious. When you reach out in passion, you'll be met with equal or greater passion. It's how it goes. It's like a small fire will return small heat, but a great fire will return great heat. So if you wonder why people around you are so like, wow, maybe it's exactly what you're putting out. So often we get back a mirror image of what we're sending out. It's how the universe works. Be passionate. Bring it. Speak from the heart. Leave no doubt as to exactly where you stand. No gray. No gray. Well, Pat, what if somebody disagrees? Then screw them. Who cares? If they're disagreeing with you and it's who you are and what you're there to say, perfect. Perfect. Screw them. You don't want them. You want the people that are behind you 100% exude enthusiasm. And if you're not passionate, why would your audience be? Why would your listeners be? You remember, your passion will set the tempo for the ones listening to you, whether it be a home seller or an entire audience, right? The entire room. Your goal is never to want everybody to love you. You may think it is, but it's not. Number one, reason for that is because it's impossible. The only way you can even begin to get near that is to be very bland. And still, because you're bland, because you're not on point, because you're not defined, nobody's going to love you. So it's impossible to get everybody to love you, except that some people are going to think you're a schmuck. It's okay. Your goal is to leave the audience, that homeowner or whomever it may be, in a decisive position. Black and white. They know where you stand, and now you let them know where they have to stand. They like you for what you have to say, or they don't. But there's no in between. Nobody's left in the middle just to tolerate you. Starting to get this? If you don't have haters, you're standing in between. I'm telling you that right now. You're more concerned about whether or not people like you than you are about your success. Let me say that again. If you don't have haters, you are more concerned about what other people think about you than you are about your own success. Take a stand. Black or white. No gray. You don't want the people that just sit there and tolerate and waste your time. It won't serve you in any way. Next is be engaging. Attempt to gauge when you're speaking to multiple people in a bigger room, or even if it's in a couple, a husband, wife, make sure you engage every audience member and do it often and do it early. Okay, get them in the conversation. Don't just sit there and preach to them. You know, if I could, I get you guys to respond back here more often, but unfortunately, through this use of technology, it's very limited in how I can engage you outside of trying to get some energy to transfer through the video camera, right? But engage, you'll engage, awesome. Get them in the conversation. Build rapport early. Open what rapport means, it opens their ears to hear your message. If you skip the rapport building process, the trust building process, their ears will be closed when you deliver your message, and it'll fall on deaf ears. If you want their respect, that I'm not saying that they're going to agree with you, but if you want the respect, you've got to connect. Whether you're live in person or on the phone, speaking to 5 or 5,000, speak to each individual as if they're the only one, just you and I sitting in this room together. And many of you, I'm sure, have felt that way as we talk, right? That's you and me together, one-on-one. That's how I see it, right? And if I see it that way, it'll come across that way. So number 3, be engaging. Number 2, be passionate. Number 1 is be organized, right? Number 4, Be natural. Be you. Don't try to be someone you're not. Comes across that way really quick. Then you come across fake, disingenuous. Presenting whatever your natural style is. You know, when I first spoke the first few times on stage, everybody kept trying to tell me what to do and what to not to do, and I kept screwing it up because I was trying to do something and be someone I wasn't. Finally, I'm like, F it, man. This is either going to work my way or it's not going to work. But at least I can leave the stage knowing that I was me. Presenting your natural style. Your delivery should be easy, conversational, right? Make it look easy. Make it be comfortable so that the audience themselves can be comfortable. You be comfortable with the audience. See, if you appear natural, you appear confident. Confidence exudes confidence. Confidence exudes credibility. The second you try to be disingenuous to the way you're naturally supposed to be presenting, throws this thing down the gutter. Your body language will speak volumes. You won't have to say any other words. So your audience, they're there to hear you. They're there for you. They're not there for anyone else. They're there to listen to what you have to say. Never try to be someone that you're not, because it just doesn't work. It's a lot easier to build rapport and gain trust than when you come across authentic and true. And there's no easier way to break that trust and to shut the door than to come across fake, disingenuous. So just be you. What if they don't like me? Then they don't like you. Too freaking bad. At least you're authentic and they respect you. They said they're not always going to listen to you and they're not always going to hear your message, but at least they know you're not trying to be someone you're not. At least you can leave the engagement knowing that you didn't try to sell out to be someone you weren't meant to be. Next year, and this is a big one, okay? If you see me looking away, because there's a chat box there and there's a question box there, and they just happen to be over there with you guys right down the middle. And your comments are encouraged. I encourage you to comment. Like, hey, Pat, this is the challenge I had. I was speaking to a homeowner and, or, hey, Pat, I wanted to do this, but I was a little nervous, so what do I do? Like, those kind of comments would be cool. Yes, I'm encouraging you to share. It's kind of funny because you're like, well, you won't know if I don't because I'll just sit here quietly. I do know because I see everyone that's on the line, and then I see who shares. So I do know that you're not sharing. Maybe at the end of the call, I'll list everyone not sharing. Number 5. After number 4, understand your audience. Don't go in blind. Do a little homework. Right? We started out at the very beginning of this call saying be prepared. Number 5, understand your audience. Do your homework. Learn as much about your audience as you possibly can before you present to them, not after. The more you know about your audience, the more you can connect, the easier it's going to be. You can speak to them. You know, when you're speaking to somebody, like a one-on-one, of course you're listening, and then you're kind of connecting the dots. But the more you can learn about them beforehand, like if I was going to go, say, I don't know, interview somebody that wants to come in and represent our gym, for example, I would research that dude, guy or gal, big time. I would know who. They say, well, Pat, you're the interviewer, you're not presenting. Yes, I am. Absolutely. Every engagement is a presentation. Every engagement is a point of influence. Unless you decide it's not. Ooh. Think about that one. Hold on. Pat, sorry for not sharing, but I've heard most of it. I've heard most, if not all of this before. Maybe I will get something out of next week's call. You're cool, Dan. Don. Lynn. I just had someone email me about a wholesale I had, and now I have a meeting with him this week to find him homes. Awesome. Congratulations. That is a score. Understand your audience. Don't wait till you're there on scene with them to learn from them, okay? Do your homework in advance. And then finally, this is a shocker, practice. 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 You don't have to wait for the big show to do it for the first time. Those who practice improve, and those who don't. So my daughter skipped jiu-jitsu practice the other night. She was at home. I was at the gym. She wasn't there. I'm like, I go home, like, honey, so I weren't at jits practice tonight. What's going on? They gave me just some weak excuse, and we said, well, guess what? That girl you're competing against, next competition, she didn't skip tonight. Now, do I know who she's competing against? No. We don't even have her next competition scheduled. But she got the point. There's always someone gunning for you, and they're training. They're practicing. To the degree that you practice will dictate who wins. Those who practice improve, those who don't. This must become second nature. You got to be comfortable talking with people, communicating, presenting, getting a message across. Can't be rehearsed. It can be practiced but not rehearsed. It's got to be authentic, genuine. It's got to flow. It's got to be natural. Most people don't practice until the live presentation. And yeah, you'll learn a shit ton during that presentation, but you've also probably missed an opportunity. Let me share one thought on this. Every time you open your mouth in public, you're a public speaker. You're influencing the public. Now, whether or not you put any gravity to that and take advantage of that and see that as an opportunity is up to you. Or you can see it as most mediocre individuals do and don't take advantage of it. They just see it as nothing. But that's cool too. No judgment here. Here's the thing, we're not born with these skills. They're taught, learned, practiced, developed, mastered. And those who master them are the highest paid individuals in the world. Great communicators. What more can be said? All leadership is built on communication first. The moment you persuade a group, more than one, towards a common goal, towards a common outcome, you are a leader. How many times in a working week do you have to get more than one person working towards a common goal, common outcome? Practice communication. Practice the art of presenting. Don't wait for the big show to do it. Mix in passion, and then the world just becomes your oyster. The most powerful weapon on earth is your human soul on fire. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I told you it's very simple, right? Number one, be organized. Do your homework. Take charge. Use your show. Be prepared. Number two, be passionate. When you bring the passion, you will be met with passion. It's got to be authentic. Can't be disingenuous. Okay. Number three, be engaging. I don't care if it's one person or 1,000 people. Engage the audience. Engage them early. Get them being in the communication, part of the conversation, so there's a delivery and a receiving, right? Don't just sit there and broadcast to them. Next, be you, be genuine, be authentic, be natural, present in your style. Don't try to be like someone else. It'll come across disingenuous, and your body language will show that. 5, understand your audience, do your homework, know who you're going to communicate to, know how they want to be communicated to. Don't go in blind. And finally, practice. Practice, 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 practice. Practice doesn't make perfect. Practice creates improvement. But those who don't practice don't improve. The one who practices the most will be the most improved, and most likely will be better prepared the next time you see each other on the mats. Cool? Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Appreciate you, of course. I'm trying to finish my lessons before I send out the letters. I want to be dangerous. Am I want to be dangerous. Am I wrong? Can you please rephrase that, Vicky? I don't quite get that. No, and he answers, I would send out your letters. Mr. Dave, better to practice and be ready for opportunity than get the opportunity not ready. Here's the funny thing about opportunities, man. Opportunities usually are right on the heel of a big burst of fear. Something jumps up, scares the crap out of us, and that's the introduction to the opportunity. The more prepared we are, the more prepared we are to address the fear, unwind it, and step into the opportunity. However, the less prepared we are, we see the fear as a challenge or something scary, and we get overwhelmed by it, and we step back from the opportunity. And the opportunity has a shelf life about this long. Opportunities don't present themselves that often, and they don't hang around that long. So whether or not you're prepared for it is up to you. Something to think about. Mr. Daniel says, thank you, Patrick. This topic should be formally taught in school. It's so important in a more successful life. This should be taught at a 2-day event, Daniel, with ongoing training and live examples and engagement throughout. That's what this should be. You're absolutely 100% correct. Right? Vicky, did you want to follow up on your question there so I can address it? I'm trying to finish my lessons before I send out the letters. I want to be dangerous. Am I wrong? I don't know if you're meant to say something else there. I would send out your letters and make sure you're ready for it. I want to be knowledgeable. Don't wait too long. You want to be prepared, Vicky, but it's impossible to be 100% prepared. Remember that. Okay? If you're on so if you're asking me the truth, if you're on a committed, dedicated path to finishing your lessons, cool. Get it done, get at it. Okay? But if you're dragging it out and you're using the lessons as a procrastinating excuse not to get your letters out, then I'd say no, drop the letters in the mail and step up to the challenge. Mr. Curtis says, I gave a talk at the Lions Club last week. I prepared and had written outline of points. When I started the talk, I got passionate that I had to forget the outline and felt much more comfortable. There you go. That's perfect, Curtis. When I go up on stage, unless I'm specifically teaching something, oftentimes I'll write 4 or 5 or 6 bullet words on my hand. I kid you not. That's all I'll need to make sure I hit on a few topics while I'm up there. Just let it come naturally. See, here's Curtis. Because you prepared, you didn't need your outline. The act of going through the preparation got you to the point that you're really trying to make, right? Therefore, you didn't have to follow the outline to make the point. So well done. Congratulations. Asia, are there any companies that put up bandit signs for people? You got to find them locally. I'd market for them. And now that college kids are out of school, they're as good as anyone. There are apps out there that allow your college kids where you track what they do, or the apps itself will record by GPS where they go, and then when they put up a sign, they take a picture of it and it all records it so you can see actually a record of their work. You know, there's apps out there that do that. It's kind of cool. Vicky says, I'm on lesson 15. I'll finish them tomorrow. Cool. Then, yeah, if you're that close, get your mail out now because you'll be done before the mail hits. And how do I prepare for those calls? Well, there's training in the course, Asia, okay, on how to prepare for the calls, on the inbound calls from your bandit signs. But the truth is, the preparation could be this. Person's calling in, you're offering to buy their house. We know that the only people we're really able to help are those who have a problem. If they don't have a problem, we can't help them. If all they want to do is sell their house, but they don't have a problem, we can't help them. So really, the speed at which you get to their problem and creating a solution to the problem will be paramount in the conversations you have. But before somebody will tell you that they have a problem and then about the problem, you've got to connect and build rapport. You've got to get them to trust you. So this whole conversation is perfect. When he calls in, hi, I'm calling in on your van and saying, fantastic. You saw the one where you said we were looking to buy houses? Awesome. Well, are you looking to sell? Oh, great. That's good. How soon are you looking to sell? Fantastic. Where are you located? Good. Tell me a little bit about the house. And you start to get into it. But you get very conversational. Awesome. 3-bed, 2-bath. You have kids? Yeah. Cool. How old? Oh, cool. What do they do? Oh, yeah. Mine plays that too. Awesome. See, now they're parents. You're parents. They have kids. You have kids. You can talk to. You have something in common you can talk about. The second you find something in common, it builds rapport. Spend a little time there. What else? What else? What else? Eventually you get back around the house. Eventually you'll be able to ask, if you're 15 minutes in a conversation talking about, I don't know, how Little League umpires aren't that good or something. When they get back, wow, your kids seem very involved in local sports. Why are you selling? You get me? Just being human. That's all it is. Genuinely caring about the people on the other end of the phone. Genuinely looking for a way to benefit them, to serve them, which means we have to find out what their problem is, which means we have to find out that they do have a problem, which means we got to build trust and rapport with them. So it's not being just disingenuous, you're being extremely authentic in the whole process. If you go right for the kill, so why do you want to sell? You might even get someone as cold as none of your business. What's the least amount you take for your house? Well, I'm asking $230, and that's what I'm looking to get. So they don't even want to be on the phone with you anymore. So you clearly have no interest in them or their situation. See how that all works together? Would it be benefit for you guys if I can somehow, I don't know if I can do this, but if I can somehow upload you guys this little report on 6 steps to be an exceptional presenter with my notes on it, would that help you guys? Like, would you want something like that? If it was, I don't know how I would do it, but I might be able to do it. If not, if you don't, it's not a big deal. But I was just thinking about that because I got this neat little white paper on it. It's a good reference point. Maybe we could have it like emailed out or something. Don't know. But anyways. All right. On that note, I'm going to let you guys rock and roll. You guys have been awesome as always. I'll see you back here live next week. Justin will be here Wednesday for you. I see a lot of you saying, yeah, you think that'd be helpful. Let me work on it. Let me see if there's a way I can give you that. It might come from me or it might come from our general email account. It might come from Kent's name, okay? But I'll see if I can get it for you. That'd be kind of cool. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're awesome, man. Peace.